Well, what's missing today?
Something's missing.
Something is missing.
Well, one, I'm missing you in my life because it was another week without you.
Yeah, it was 2 weeks. No, 1 week off, right?
Wow, you can't even remember. This is
Feels
how
like
little
2
you even
weeks.
care about me. God, you suck.
Well, we learned it this way, unfortunately. But, all right, so we're talking about a movie that's on the tip of my tongue.
It's something that it's not here. It's not visible. It's just like I said. You could say it's missing. It's missing in.
I think it's on an island in Jurassic Park. Oh, wait, actually, no. It
No.
was Vietnam.
No,
right?
yes, Vietnam.
But it looks like Jurassic Park.
is missing in Vietnam.
Yeah.
No, missing in action.
Yeah, 1984 is Missing in Action, Truck Norris movie.
Truck Norris.
It's called Truck Morris.
Truck
He is
Morris.
a truck, dude, and he drives a truck in this movie
He
as
does,
well.
he actually transforms into a truck.
Yeah.
That's his transformer.
But yeah, all right. So my name is AC,
This is Scrooge.
and
We are the real men of action.
all right, 1984. We're in the jungles.
Yeah, so I mean, do you want me to give you like the real backstory why this is even a movie?
Okay, I'm gonna just like slowly look at it, IMDb, and then while you do
Okay,
that,
well,
I need to
okay.
inform myself. Go
All
ahead.
right, so obviously anybody who's familiar with the Vietnam War, it ended in 1974 after, how many years of just unnecessary violence and crap and all that good stuff. But there was a long-standing, unconfirmed rumor, or I don't even know how it actually ended when you had to research it, but they always thought that POW, prisoner of war American soldiers were left in Vietnam and they never got rescued. So that led to for some reason, like a series of different movies in the 80s about action heroes going back to Vietnam to go save their fellow soldiers. So this just happened to be one of them. So of course our boy Chuck Norris made sure to, strap on his best beard, hop in a helicopter, and fly over there to get our boys back.
What a movie, dude. Okay.
The best part is AC was so happy. Like, he seemed so excited because first we didn't know what movie we were going to see. And then I told him I had a Chuck Norris collection box set in my
it's great. On the
my
cover,
bedroom.
it's just Chuck Norris holding a M16 with like the American flag in the
With the
background
shirt
or
open.
something. Yeah.
Don't forget the shirt open.
Absolutely perfect. That's probably why you don't wear shirts.
No, it isn't. I mean, really, it's like almost I have it in my my contract not to wear any shirts. And my man AC is actually joining in on the fun here.
Yeah,
We're both
it's
shirtless.
hot. Dude, in New York right now, we're getting hit. This is like
it's
mid-90s every day.
And this is before we apply the baby oil to each other.
Of course, but we're not going to talk about that because we're talking about Missing in Action.
So,
Of course. So, yeah, I didn't know what to watch tonight, and, Scrooge just thought this is a perfect way to torture me. I guess. I mean, you haven't seen this movie specifically, so
No,
I don't think
that's
it was
the funniest thing is because I was given this box set as a gift. I never had a chance to really look at the box set because it's got Delta Force 1 and 2, and there's not one, not two, but there's 3 mission in
Are
action.
you sure? Because
Yes, look it up.
me
I'm looking
see.
at it right now. I want to make sure I got the names down. So I got the
Yes,
IMDb.
okay. It's not called Missing in Action 3, though. It's called Braddock, which is the guy's name. Missing in Action 3.
Well, that's
so,
a perfect segue into. So Chuck Norris plays Lieutenant Colonel James Bardock. Bardock,
Braddock. Horrible
who-
name choice. By the
Right,
way.
well, it was hilarious. I love it because it's just one of the. I think there's like a. I really did believe that at some point in the 80s, I think studios just had like a action name generator that was like on shuffle, and they just hit it, and then whatever it landed on, it was just 2 front name and the last name just pop right together, and they're like, oh, that's it, we're good, we got it.
Well, who's that one guy in this movie? The other dude.
Which one?
Jack Tucker.
Oh.
Why didn't they call Chuck Norris Jack Tucker, and then that guy would have been James Braddock? Doesn't the older guy look like more of a James Braddock? He doesn't.
He does, but then it's just weird when they say Braddock.
Braddock seems like an old man.
Well, it's because it's an 80s Chuck Norris movie. So this movie, I guess, follows the story because it starts with a weird ass dream that he's in Vietnam and he's getting attacked by the Viet Cong with his fellow soldiers, and things are going, I guess, okay or whatever. And then his boys, they get killed. They get ambushed, bayoneted, and killed right in front of him after he gets shot. And he just instantly decides he's gonna kill himself
with two grenades.
Jumps out of a window.
Kamikaze is that shit, dude. That's
blows
great.
up, blows up,
That was
and
an
then wakes
awesome
up.
part in the movie. And then he wakes up, and then
wakes up.
and then the movie starts, and then I'm like, oh my god,
But-
like what the fuck?
But does the movie actually start? Like the entire time we both were acting like we didn't know if the movie actually started. It was like a zombie of a movie where I guess it was dead, but it
Yep.
continued to keep walking because it just never got going.
You know what it feels like? It feels like when you're a kid and you're going to school and like, okay, say you got to be at school at 7:30 and you wake up at 6:30 and you keep falling asleep every 5 minutes and those 5 minutes feel like they're super long. You know, that's how this like intro scene feels in the whole movie in general, but like it just felt like that slow, sluggish feeling that you feel in the morning where like time is going so slow and you know, it's God, this movie's a mess though, dude. Like I don't even know where to begin because that action scene in the beginning was great. I actually really enjoyed that flashback dream, whatever it is.
It started off there. Well, really, we can walk through it. So he had the dream. He wakes up as Chuck Norris does, as I do every day, which is he just wakes up, shirtless. Shirt wide open, sweating profusely in his hotel room, and then
having
he spends
a TV on his bedstand, and
got
that's
the whole 80s tropes just flying
classic
everywhere.
veteran look. Like when you think of a veteran who has like some kind of PTSD,
Especially in the movies.
It's him in like a hotel room. Like I mean, Apocalypse Now really created that, but that was perfect. Like how sweaty and like gross he looked. Like
Completely, and he continues to have just these because AC hasn't seen First Blood, so he wouldn't know how it's like really done well. But like, so post-traumatic stress,
is that where it came from?
flashbacks.
Okay.
Well, not like it came from, but like they did it really well. And like when movies
That's what I
portray,
mean, inspired by.
When they portray soldiers actually having like moments like real soldiers do when they have flashbacks and they start losing it.
Yeah.
Like it was attempting to do that, but it just randomly in this movie, he just like for the next 10 or 15 minutes, just instantly like zones out into a weird ass like flashback to Vietnam where it just seems totally out of place, doesn't even make any sense, and then comes right back into focus, and he's traveling to Vietnam, I guess, a part of something. No, they don't explain anything.
Like you said, before we get into that, the flashbacks. What's funny about those is he'll like be standing at a window, and there's just nothing that kind of resembles it, like nothing that triggers the flashback,
Yeah,
but
nothing,
just have them.
Just literally has them, no
because
reason.
when he gets off at the plane at where was he, Saigon or whatever?
Yeah,
I think
started
it
off
was
in
at
Saigon.
Yeah, when he gets off the plane, he's like standing there looking, and then has some other flashback about him walking in chains. It just nothing makes sense.
Oh, that one was because he ran into the dude, the guy, his main torturer.
But
So-
still, like in the sense of like,
No, there's like two or three who just randomly just zones out for no reason, like nothing.
Like I told you, I said this movie would have been great if it showed it from the time that, and I thought honestly that the people that he was rescuing he knew.
Yeah.
Does he know these people? Because
I
there
know,
seems to be
it's
no connection.
I don't think it's ever explained in the movie, like because they kind of make comments when he meets James Hung's character, which the man of a thousand Asian faces.
Yes.
God bless James Hung. I love that guy.
He's always working. Always in it. Always.
He when he runs into him, he keeps making jabs at him about not saving his troops or letting his troops die.
Yeah.
So I think that they're all dead, or I think they might be these dudes. They're not even. It never makes it
It's
clear.
never explained, because if
Never
it
makes
was
it
like
clear.
he's going back to save his squad,
Yeah.
that would be an awesome movie.
That makes
because-
more sense.
And then think about it, okay? The first like hour is just him in Vietnam, this all happening. He gets rescued, taken back to the States, whatever. Then he start having those dreams about like, his friends. That makes sense. You can't just throw us right into the movie without any.
See, there you go again, AC, thinking you're gonna make sense out of a senseless movie.
That's true. But this is a Chuck Norris film.
right,
And I thought, I just want to bring this up because I'm not the biggest action dude in the world. There are action movies. There's two types of action movies to me, okay? I was just thinking about this earlier, okay? There's the one action movie where it's like, who cares about the plot? It's all about, explosions and action. It's
The guns and the
yes,
guns.
the plot takes the back seat, right? And then there's other movies where it's more about the story, it's about the characters, this movie is neither. This movie isn't about the explosions because there's barely any in this movie. It's a very tame movie. I thought it was going to be a little bit more like action and cool and what. It's a very slow paced and a little bit boring movie at times.
Well, so for me, it's like the stuff that did happen was kind of entertaining, for sure. But then it wasn't like because there's slow, there's good slow.
Yeah.
Good slow is like when it really builds it up, really like it's like a slow burn and it really works. This is like literally, it felt like I was sitting there watching him go through his day routine at times. Which the idea of cinema is to, fast track or condense these things because it's not real life. So it's not like we're going to sit and watch a 2-hour movie with one dude, brushing his hair for an entire movie.
Yeah.
Unless you're, like David Lynch and
some kind of
psycho.
art piece.
Yeah, some weird ass art piece. But like, so this is like, yeah, no, absolutely. It was a weird in between where I enjoyed some of the action, but it was weird. But it's like a lot of, if you have seen other Chuck Norris movies, they go all over the place.
Invasion
some of them,
USA,
yeah,
directed by the same director, which we should talk about real quick.
Good
the
Lord,
director,
please.
he directed The Prowler, which was
The Prowler.
Yeah, it was it was actually a pretty good cult movie. And
So excuse me for a second, I'm cracking a cold one open for the boys here.
Nice. But yeah, he directed The Prowler, 1981. This was actually a pretty good movie. It was like a stalker movie where it's like, all right, I'm just gonna read you the plot. You just gotta
hit me with it.
An unknown killer, clad in World War II U.S. Army fatigues, stalks a small New Jersey town bent on reliving a 35-year-old double murder by focusing on a group of college kids holding an annual spring dance. It is an out there bizarre. Yes, exactly.
That sounds
right?
totally ridiculous.
But he made this slasher genre. I mean, obviously, other movies we can talk all day about horror movies. But I'm just saying, like, he was well known at the time for making the slasher genre a little prevalent because he got asked to film the fourth Friday the 13th called The Final Chapter. It was the fourth movie in a nine movies.
Yeah, The Final Chapter.
Yeah,
never got into those, but I always thought it was funny how
the naming.
how long they lasted. I didn't even realize that Jason, as he appears in like pop culture of like The Mask and The Machete, didn't actually happen until like the third movie.
Third movie.
Didn't realize
first
that.
two are great. We're gonna have to watch those one day, just like we'll watch the Rambo movies. But so right after he directed this, he directed Missing in Action as well as Invasion USA. And that was pretty much the end of his career. Like I said, he filmed a movie called Red Scorpion with Dolph Lundgren for some reason. It was a Soviet Special Forces movie in Africa.
Well, that's a whole nother thing we could talk about
awful.
the 80s where there's so many Cold War Soviet movies.
Yep.
That were, Russia, bad,
the tough
bad.
guy image was so prevalent in the 80s. It was like, and Chuck Norris, him and Joseph Zito, they made this and Missing in Action and Invasion USA. And
Invasion USA is a complete wreck of a movie.
I love that
fun,
movie.
No, fun.
It's
no, fun
so
because
fun.
It's him and Lee Martin. Let's see. That's the thing about Chuck is that his movies range from enjoyable to just damn boring to like in the middle. And it's not like a normal actor. It's like they really are they go all over the place.
Yes,
and that's because he's not an actor. Mm-hmm. Never was, and really never is going to be.
No,
it's only thanks to when he originally started in Way of the Dragon that even got him his first his first taste of the film industry. But then he didn't actually star in a movie until I think it was '78 when that Good Guys Don't Wear or Good Guys. Only Good Guys Wear Black, whatever it's called.
Good Guys Wear Black.
Yeah, whatever that's called. That was his first actual movies. But then that just started a thing where they're like, hey, this clicks. And so just,
Well, he
get you in these
blew
movies.
up, though, in that Bruce Lee. What was that Bruce Lee movie?
It's called Way of the Dragon.
Way of the Dragon, yes.
Yeah.
Where he's
it's Return of the Dragon, Way of the Dragon, depending on which, because, we talk about international distribution of films. They always change the title and stuff.
Of course.
They changed the actual movies of Bruce Lee's. For a long time, when they released the DVDs, they were reversed. So his movies titles were reversed. So they're calling the wrong movies the wrong name, and that went on for years with people getting confused. But that's how Chuck got pretty much that's how he got his taste. And he works in that movie great because he just does his part and that's it, which is he just plays the rival karate champion and then, gets his ass kicked by Bruce Lee and then that's it. But he found his own niche, which was making ridiculous, either really boring or entertaining action movies in the 80s. And something you want to talk about sidebar. There is a different level of budget. There's a different level of 80s budget because you look at crappy movies now. Mm-hmm. I don't think they look the same as a crappy 80s movie because think about it. There's still a lot of action and stunts and work that went into this kind of a movie.
Oh, I was thinking about that with the end scene with the helicopter and shit. They were literally filming a dude climbing up a rope on a helicopter, and I was like, damn, like that's a cool shot of it.
They're doing
There's
all
some
of
cool
that.
shit put into this movie.
And that's gone now. Like
It's
like
completely
80s
gone.
filmmaking different than, today's filmmaking.
No.
So, but we in the story, he flies to Saigon, doesn't really explain like anything. He starts, doing his Chuck Norris bit, which is talk softly, beat some
Very
people up,
quiet.
kill some people.
I said he's a very mild-mannered and soft-spoken kind of
Well,
guy.
he and Steven Seagal are like the same acting school of whisper very softly. So I'm acting. So the more you whisper, the more you just don't have to actually put any effort into trying to enact.
Yeah, because it makes you look intimidating.
Yeah, that's what it ends up being. And for some people, it works because if you were talking to a man like that in a bar who was acting like that, you probably wouldn't want to mess with him.
I don't want to fuck with him.
Right. Yeah, so he's quiet, First the entire movie, and he finally decides, I guess, because again, we don't know what the hell is going on here. I think the idea is that they're there because they're trying to prove that POWs are in Vietnam. The Vietnam government's like, no, they're not here. And so eventually he's just like, well, forget this shit. I'm gonna take care of it myself. So
well, how does he exactly know? Because in the sense, like, he seems like he represents the people in America, like you said, who thought that there was still POWs in Vietnam. And how does he directly know? I mean, no, I know he's been there.
I
right?
might have just zoned out because I was trying to find the will to live, but I'm pretty sure he just figured it out because he felt it. So he must certainly have dealt it because when I remember in the movie, I don't remember. I think he might have heard a news story. That's what the whole thing about
that was
him droning
on the
out.
TV.
Yeah, in his
but
hotel.
You don't just watch TV and then go to Saigon and say, "Hey, I saw this on the television."
I think that was it because if I remember, she was like, "What made you change your mind?" And he's like, "Gotta get those boys."
Yeah,
Gotta get those boys.
Super quiet.
I'm gonna kill all the Viet Cong.
And that girl, though, we do not know who she is.
Nothing. I'd have to
At
actually
all.
literally I'm gonna actually literally look up her name because she was that important to this movie.
Yeah, women characters take the back seat in Chuck Norris movies.
A ton of
movies.
Her character's name is Anne Fitzgerald.
What?
Mm-hmm.
And Braddock? Are these old people? Are these supposed
I guess
to be
so.
old
And this
people?
is Anne Fitzgerald, and then there's also a senator. I've got that dude with her is a senator. And then so Chuck Norris decides to take the matters in his own hands. He stages because people are always, that's the best part of this movie is that everyone's trying to kill him. From pretty much the start he gets
Everybody.
to the end, he runs into the guy who's his captor, and pretty much from there, they're constantly trying to kill him. So when he gets up to his hotel room, there's people watching him. So he uses cover of sneaking into this woman's hotel to bang her as a cover for him to sneak out and go kill James Hong's character, which is set to the most like horrific.
Yeah, we were talking about
this is like one of the best parts of the movie, like the most horrific, stereotypical like
It's
serial
complete
killer
80s,
music.
80s horror. That's all it is. It's the deep simps. It's the creepy atmosphere, and even the shot of him walking down that spiral staircase. Where
It's
you
like
put a mask on him, he's a serial killer. you know?
Literally, it was like literally watching a horror movie, but Chuck Norris was the killer, which I wasn't complaining, mind you.
That would be a
'cause
great movie. Where
It
he's
really
like
would
a
be.
serial killer, kind of, and I mean, he pretty much is.
he's a good guy. So if he's
Yeah.
a good guy, then he can just kill everybody.
It's all
So
justified.
there's no
Mute
problem.
your damn phone. You're
What,
getting
man?
nudes in the middle of this.
Yeah, sometimes daddy's got to get taken care of.
Jeez. All right.
Excuse me, my bad.
yeah,
It's because he can hear the vibration, but it's fine when he has to take a pee. Because when he has to take a pee, he's like, "Oh, I gotta get up. Sorry,
I
let's take a
paused the
break."
show for that. Okay.
Okay, that's fine.
And I was actually to jack off about Chuck Norris. That's why I was in the bathroom.
That's understandable. I actually jacked off about Chuck Norris while you were in the bathroom.
Wow,
So
that's
I'm sitting in a pool
it's a
right
win
now.
and win.
It really is.
But
So
yeah,
horror movie music, which
Okay.
we both were laughing about because it never really left the movie.
it doesn't feel like it's supposed to be in this
No,
movie. It
not
feels
at
like
all.
a completely different movie.
Completely different movie. So he goes and gets the information from James Hong about where these POWs are at. Kills them he lets him go, but of course, this is 80s movie, so he tries to kill Chuck Norris. Chuck Norris is
course.
like, nah. And then he throws a knife and kills him.
And then some guy just runs in with an AK. It's
Yeah,
like,
and he just goes,
I love that dude.
hits him once.
Yeah.
And then it's over, and then he runs away.
He gets back to the hotel room.
Yeah, just in time. Just in time when they break down the door and see that he's there.
So convenient.
And they're like, oh, and what does the guy say? He's like, how convenient you got back.
That's
here
what I'm
in time.
saying. He doesn't realize that this script was written by like, the most like basic screenplay writer ever, because holy crap, even the ending, like we'll talk about, like perfect timing for everything.
Yep. He was just like, how convenient. And then literally the next like hour is dedicated to, like, I guess him setting up a plan. He goes around to the most depressing strip club I've ever seen in a movie.
We will get there, but can we start when that dude walks into his room, because we didn't really talk about that. Okay, Chuck Norris gets back and pulls, freaking rips the clothes off that girl.
Oh, literally, that was hilarious. She I thought he was just gonna start kissing.
After he kills James Hong, he goes back in and then rips the clothes off this girl.
Like, literally, I'm sorry, I need to, just thinking about Chuck Norris makes me parch.
I know.
Literally, he gets in here. I mean, he's suggesting to her that, let's make it good because they're breaking in, but he like viciously rips her shirt off, of like titties
so
going
close
flying.
To rape, dude. And then he throws her.
Her in the bed, and they start like pretend to make out whatever, and he gets under the covers, and then they come breaking into the door.
Break the door open. The door's off.
Literally door's
broken.
Gone. Shattered into pieces, and they come running in.
Like you said, how convenient, whatever.
Like, you've been here this whole time. And she's like, yes, like she's just been raped or something.
Yeah. And then he's like, I want you out of here. Like a shitty landlord. He's like, I want you out of here.
Tomorrow.
Yeah.
And then he's like,
and then like, what's going to go with you? Well, like you said, what the hell's going to happen to that door? Like,
yeah, because the door was just, okay, so there's just now her hotel door has just nothing.
Now she's just I would just leave that night. I would be like, fuck this, dude. I can't sleep with a door open.
Well, that's exactly what Chuck Norris did, because then, like we were talking about it, like the next hour, I lost track, honestly. The next hour is this drawn out quest to actually get this mission going.
This is the slowest mission. And by the time, honestly, he would be done with this, they would all be dead. Like, all the MIAs would all be dead.
Well, as long as he was taken, they might as well be dead because of how long. I mean, like, it went on. I'm actually surprised you or I even summoned the strength to finish it, because, like,
it's a slow movie. Like, I like slow. I like slow movies, and
but they gotta be good.
Yeah, and they gotta build to something. Yes, like you said,
slow movies are about payoff.
They've got to build to something. There's no payoff. Like, I think one of my favorite slow movies ever is Psycho. It's such a slow movie, but it's like the ending is fantastic. Where in this movie, you get to the end and you're like, wait, that was it? That was what you even said when the ending shot still. Classic 80s.
Which we'll get to that, but it's like that classic 80s, and there's also in a lot of Chinese or Hong Kong movies. They do the same thing where they have, I don't even know what it is, why it even became that way, but it's a trope in a ton of, at least they're action movies. I don't see a lot of like they're just drama.
Well,
but it literally just cuts. That it's over
and
as
then
soon.
It's done.
Like you might as well like there's some movies where that works, where it's like almost like a shock value. Maybe like the hero gets killed or something, and then it's like over, or it's a bleak ending. But it's literally like, okay, movie's over, no epilogue, no tying up loose ends, nothing. It's just bam, done.
No, I agree completely.
And the same thing.
But personally, like, I think there's a reason why they drag it out that long.
Where's that?
Because they have no story. So what they do, I feel like, is they drag out, like, the scene. Okay, so like we're still talking about the beginning. Where Chuck Norris is getting back from killing that guy to his bedroom to make sure, that he's not actually guilty or whatever. That whole scene takes forever, dude. He's climbing up, like, the side of that building, and he's going so slow. He's taking his time. Everything is just...
And you're talking about when he's going back up. Remember, he does that on the way down,
and then he
does
that on the way down, and then he also does that later in the movie as well. He's climbing into a building or something. I even said to you, I said, is this whole movie just him climbing?
It was eventually when he raided the one village, and it took him like 15 minutes to plant one charge.
Yeah.
Which, if this was real life, wouldn't matter, but we're watching a movie, so of course, watching 10, 15 minutes.
Well, that's the thing. I think this is like no plot in the screenplay. Like, it must have been a super thin screenplay. Like, they were just basically. It reminds me of like when you wrote a story as a kid and you would just like basically write the details about it and not go too in depth. I think that was the same thing where they were like, you know what? Well, we're gonna film every scene and take our fucking time because obviously, we have no story to work with or anything. That's
a good point. It might be that. It might. I've always wondered, and I'm gonna try to figure that out. But it might be that.
I think it's more about the action, the tension. I don't think, because obviously we don't learn anything about this main character. We don't know anything. He could be a complete horrible person. We don't know.
He's Chuck Norris.
You
That's all
don't
need to
side
know.
with him though. Personally, there's like no siding. You know.
Well, because it's just there's one side to Chuck Norris,
And that's it.
and that's the kill side.
And
There's only one side to Chuck Norris, my friend. Okay.
It's simple thinking, dude. But anyways, okay, so we go from there. Then they arrive at Saigon, like we talked about,
Yeah.
or where did Thailand was it?
You know, because what happened was he races off to get somewhere else to find his buddy,
But he gets caught
and
up.
he goes to Thailand.
But before he gets there, he gets caught up. Remember at the airport scene or whatever? Remember he like goes back in his closet, and then there's a guy in the closet. Or is that too far ahead?
No. Yeah, he tries coming. No, that is too far
Because
ahead.
but when they
No, it's
leave,
too far
remember
ahead.
at the airport when he drives that giant truck and then pushes them into the water?
Yeah, that was just another example of him getting attacked. That literally was just him getting attacked.
I can't tell. This movie fucking makes no sense.
Because he literally just gets attacked like every 5 minutes. So he goes to Thailand to meet with his buddy. Your stereotypical we were just asking about Kickboxer earlier.
Yeah.
If no one's ever seen that, that's a great, horrible Jean-Claude Van Damme movie. But there's
the first one. All the other ones are
they're probably
no Van Damme.
just as bad and
Yeah.
just as enjoyably bad. But so, excuse me. There's a trope in '80s movies about going to like foreign lands of like, especially in Asia, where you just find like some weird ass like American dude who's like hanging out in the bars,
Yeah.
or the bars or the strip clubs,
They'll speak
and they're
English
like,
and yeah.
well, even they're from America or something,
Yeah.
and they're just like chilling and getting their rocks off in Thailand or whatever. There's this trope character that's in a lot of different '80s action movies that I've
Always
seen.
got the Hawaiian shirt.
Hawaiian shirt, like sunglasses, usually a hat.
He looks like he's enjoying his time there
Oh yeah,
too, no
Yeah,
matter
'cause
where
when
he's
you're,
at.
most of the time they're ugly or fat or something about them, so they're just having Asian titties getting slapped in their faces, all the time.
They've got money stocked in the bank. There's no reason those women would be with him if he's not paying.
So Chuck gets the seedy weird and then remember the music too. The music cues with some weird ass like '80s.
Yeah, it's like super like upbeat. And
Some
like
people doing some weird ass dance in the
Yeah,
street.
yeah.
And then he gets.
So where is that? Is that Thailand?
They said Thailand.
They
so
said
by,
Thailand,
so
okay.
Bangkok, Thailand. I think it said on the
Okay.
So
he escapes Saigon.
the screen title.
Okay.
Yeah, he
okay.
escapes Saigon, got to Bangkok, and he enters the most depressing strip club I've ever seen in a movie.
Yeah.
Which starts off with this nice, probably Thai lady. I don't know. It could be a different Asian woman, but a Thai lady singing a horrible rendition of Rod Stewart's "Do You Think I'm Sexy?" And she's like, "If you think I'm sexy, come on, sugar, let me know."
And the dude just playing an electric guitar, just standing next to him.
It continues to play in the background
keep
as she's
redoing it.
as she's barely getting through it. He's going through this dark, poorly lit. Like it didn't even because there's movies where they have seedy like bars or
Dive
strip
bars,
clubs,
yeah.
whatever. You don't get that from this. This just seems like a dirty ass, like just disgusting. And there's just a couple women just awkwardly, like I can't even say grinding. They're just awkwardly dancing naked on a table. Just like the most depressing strip club I've ever seen in my life.
What's amazing about this part is that Chuck Norris knows exactly where to go. Like, of course, he asks people, he intimidates people for fear, which will get down the line. He'll strike fear in their eyes, and then he'll get what he wants.
Oh, that's right. He went into the bar earlier and bribed someone to get this information of where the guy was.
But in that sense, dude, with that, how the hell did he know? Okay, it's like you arrive to a new place. You're just gonna go up to a random bartender in a bar, and he's gonna automatically know where this one. This city's got to be huge.
That's how it works in movies, man. That's why I said always wanted to try that out to get information from somebody, and they didn't cooperate. I'd slip them 100 and see if that worked. I've always wanted to try it. Always want to try it.
There's no way. Because how do you and how
They
does
do
he
it in movies.
How does he just travel around Bangkok like it's nothing? Like
That's how they do it in movies, man. That's how it works.
He just knows. I mean, this is before Google Maps and all that stuff too. How the hell did he know?
They've been doing it for centuries, baby.
It's just
so he finds his friend. His friend comes flying in. Stereotypical he's getting in a fight. Did something wrong in the bar. Or
That's
whatever.
how it always is too. Yeah, along with Hawaiian shirt, he's always in some kind of trouble.
Some kind of trouble because he's some kind of shady, slimy.
Probably
he's doing
a gambler, doing something wrong.
Con artist, whatever. He's doing whatever to make a quick buck or survive.
Mm-hmm.
And so he finds him and he secures his boat. Okay, he wants a boat to save these guys. Literally, he does not get on this boat for or he gets to this boat for like another 40 minutes.
Yeah, it's a long time.
It turns into, this is where he goes back to his hotel room or whatever he's staying at.
Yes, okay, so then he goes back to it. So wrap up real quick because this movie literally makes no sense.
We're getting
it's
there,
hard
we're
to
almost
follow.
there.
So essentially, listeners, Chuck Norris, as we've said, is this, what is he, a colonel or he's some lieutenant?
Lieutenant Colonel.
Yeah, whatever.
Colonel Braddock.
And he's basically traveling from Saigon to Thailand to find this one guy to help him get a boat so he can get on the island of Vietnam.
Yes,
and
to save the POWs.
to save the POWs, okay? Because it takes a while for me. I didn't understand what was going on until like halfway through the movie.
Didn't literally have, because then after he gets the boat so-called secure, he gets attacked at his hotel by the same dude who tortured him. They blow up like his room with like a rocket launcher.
He gets attacked, then
kills like people in the street, and then he just gets up and walks away. Then realizes it's time to go.
Yep.
Still though.
So then they get to that airport, right? And he's getting shot at while he's driving to the airport, and then the boat's there, and he's like, it reminds me of like Indiana Jones at the beginning. It's like, come on. Get the plane, whatever.
Finally, it finally, like, and I said, like 30 minutes like roll by. Finally gets his boy and says it's time to go.
Yeah.
Then they finally get
like not 30 minutes in movie time, 30 minutes in real time. This shit takes forever, dude.
Literally. We were sitting. I'm
it's
sitting there waiting.
I think it's like an hour and 15 when he actually gets on the fucking island. It takes him.
I think even further than that.
It's probably an hour 20 then.
I kept checking to see how long it took him to actually get on it, but he gets all of his equipment. He cons the old guy or his old buddy into it.
Before he does get the boat, which he asked the old guy to help him go with him, he buys this raft boat thing from this one shady dude with this weird like Bosnian accent or some kind of European accent.
It was an arms dealer, obviously.
And so Chuck Norris, this is one of my favorite scenes, probably my favorite scene in the movie. He's in this like warehouse, and I love that the shady guy who's just selling these rafts that just have freaking large machine guns just chilling on.
He said he had the only one in Vietnam or that area.
Yeah,
so.
And it was made out of like stuff that are
Kevlar.
also made with bulletproof vests. So it was a bulletproof raft or whatever. And Chuck Norris, he's never gonna pay full price. I feel like even nowadays he goes to the store, not paying full price.
No, he probably walks right in and shakes their hand. They just immediately give it to him for free.
They just give it because
you're welcome.
Like, we don't want this place to be burnt down.
We don't want to die. We want to live.
that as well. But I love that scene because he's on there and then he's like, okay, 20,000. I'm not going anything under. And he's holding the cigarette, looking super slimy and gross. The guy, and then Chuck Norris is literally standing on the raft, aiming a large machine gun at him.
He's loading it slowly.
And he's just like slowly looking. I love how he's looking at him too. He's just like kind of just like staring at him and staring at the gun. And then he's like, and then he's like, and Chuck Norris is like 5,000. And then the guy's like, no. And then he was like 17 or something. And then
and he's like 15.
And it goes all the way down to 10. He's like, oh, okay, whatever. Why would this guy, which we talk about near the end, some guy who's literally aiming a gun at you and forcing you to turn down your prices, why would you help him out in the end? Which we find out that he helps him out. Remember he's on the helicopter?
It's because
Chuck Norris.
No, different guy.
I thought that's the same guy.
Remember you kind of.
Who is that guy? That was the guy in that random bar, right?
Yeah, he was the random dude I told you about that you missed, where he just came in and talked to him in another titty bar about getting helicopters back up.
This movie's highly missable, so I apologize.
Well, it's because it's missing in action.
You go.
Could have should have been called missing action.
Wow, that was bad.
Thank you. So
we go from that airport scene.
Yep. He gets loaded, locked and loaded with all his stuff.
Yeah, it's a dock, but I call it an airport because it kind of looks like an airport. It's just a long stretch of land for some reason. I love that in horror movies, or not horror movies, action movies where there's like a long stretch of land and they keep going on forever and ever. And it's like, how long is this fucking road?
Oh, let's see, like airstrips and stuff.
Yeah, and then he drives that boat against those guys and they go in the water and then they hop on the boat. So they finally con the old man to get on the boat.
Right, but don't forget, he spends like 10, 15 minutes planning a charge on this completely unrelated village where he thinks everybody is. Finally blows it up.
Though that's when he gets on the island. I'm talking about on the airstrip. Okay, so we were just talking about how my favorite scene where he's buying
I got that. Yeah,
raft.
He's got all this stuff, though.
Yeah, and then he's ready to go, and then he's getting on the boat. This is the part where he's getting on the boat, and then those people are chasing him, and he hops in that truck, and he's getting shot at, and then he hops
Yeah.
on the boat after, and then they start traveling to the island. And they're not even on the island in my mind right now. We're still talking about how.
They're still, they're not even there yet.
Yeah, I know what you're thinking of, though, that part. But so then they travel. He basically cons that man, and they travel all the way to the island of Vietnam. It makes it look like super like dark, and like, as I said, it looks like Jurassic Park kind of.
Kind of. It just doesn't look like an actual
It looks
place.
kind of spooky too with the music that they're doing and everything. I thought it was gonna be like a Scooby-Doo episode or something like that, like, or whatever. But yeah, anyways, so they get to the island, and I know this movie is hard to talk about, but we'll get through it. Gets to
We're
the
okay.
island.
We can do it.
Weird enough, so he has a giant boat holding a bulletproof mini
smaller
boat
one. And he's got a
that's
smaller one on
holding
top
a
of that.
smaller raft on the side.
Right.
And then him and the old man go and drop off the old raft, and then he like forces the old man to go with him.
No, he forces him to watch. No, he forces him to go with him, but he stays on the raft.
Yeah, to watch.
To watch him, to watch his back.
Yeah.
Then Chuck, thinking he's going to the right village, goes to the right village. Takes like 40 years to plant this one charge.
Yeah, it's a long scene. It's about 15 minutes.
He blows up the village hut, kills plenty of Viet Cong. Then he frees prisoner exposition man. Who
Yes. Okay, so this is what I was talking about earlier. Like, he'll just talk to random. It reminds me of a video game where the only way you learn stuff is by talking to locals and random. They call them NPCs, like just random computers that are around.
What
That's how
game
you
was
learn.
it?
Any Skyrim, any kind of game,
Skyrim.
Elder Scrolls. Fallout, any of those games, basically you learn information by talking to the people in the town. Same freaking thing as that. It reminds me exactly of what we just saw. It's like, oh, he freed a prisoner, so the prisoner's going to exactly tell him where the MIAs and the POWs are.
Perfect English, or enough for him to understand, and he
Yeah,
tells
that's
him
great,
exactly
too.
where all the soldiers
How
are.
the hell does he know English? And also, at the beginning of the
ask
movie,
questions.
Chuck Norris is the one talking in Vietnamese. Remember that?
Oh yeah.
He's talking in that courtroom drama scene in the beginning.
Well, because he's Chuck, he knows everything.
Yes, which is funny enough that there's a court. I kind of was laughing in my head. Why is there a courtroom drama scene in this movie?
It's like I said, because they were trying to go off of because I'm pretty sure, I don't even know if that was ever resolved, but the Vietnamese government adamantly denied that there was any POWs.
Yeah.
And people believed that there was. So that was kind of playing off the real deal of it was exactly like that, where you had the generals or the people running the country saying, we do not have these prisoners. And then you had people from America saying, you do, publicly, in front of people, because they love propaganda.
And to make it great, I love the courtroom that just is.
So that was legit. It was
needed.
just the whole Chuck talking in Vietnamese to everybody was just added just retardation.
I don't know honestly what to talk about, because it's
We're all. Don't worry,
well,
baby.
No,
You're okay.
I mean, in the sense of dude, if he knows
Hang in there.
Vietnamese or whatever when he was saying that or whatever, why isn't he using this on the locals? You can't plant something in your movie like, oh, Chuck Norris randomly knows Vietnamese and then never use it again.
Because you can't ask the actors to learn too much. That's what you're at. Because people don't think about that stuff. People don't think about unless you're us, unless you're people that really pay attention to film. Most of the time, it's only selective in screenplays when people use different languages. It's either if it suits the story or it suits the character.
Yes.
You know, like, oh, hey, it's in that case, it was just showing that, hey, Chuck Norris can speak different languages in this scene, and that's
point,
it.
yeah.
Doesn't even act like, oh, that's what he's just gonna do that. It's like done. Over and done. You saw it once, so then you don't even think about it again.
And different people actually speak different languages in the movie as well. Like the guards that were walking around the hotel, they were just randomly speaking in Vietnamese.
Yeah, because they were probably just either.
I think it's supposed to show that, it's they
because
don't speak
point,
English.
the point is you show. That's why the exposition prisoner guy. He just happened to speak English because the plot needed him to. Because for all you know, he could have been a prisoner. Because I mean, those are legit. Like they did in prison, fellow Vietnamese people. Vietnamese people, and so it's possible he could have known English, but just for this movie's case, he just knows English automatically. But it tells him where he is. They have a nice, bonding moment. Thank you so much for saving us, and then they talk about they're going to be freedom fighters.
And all this stuff, which doesn't go anywhere.
No, well, yeah, because that's just on the next. And then, Chuck...
Wait, Then he goes back to
Yeah,
the
yeah,
raft.
that's what I'm saying. He takes 40
And the-
years to get back to the raft.
and the day changes. So it's at night when he blows up this village and he's
Instantly
setting
switches
these
to
people free.
morning.
And then there's a jump cut where he goes back to morning and he's just laying on the raft. And then Chuck goes, like I said, was he sleeping in Vietnam? Did it take him 7 hours to walk all the way back?
The old dude was literally sleeping sitting.
Yeah,
up.
so that means Chuck must have took a nap somewhere too, or unless he walked back
never sleeps.
7 hours. Yeah,
He has two speeds: walk and kill.
it's like that one thing they say where Chuck Norris like sleeps with one eye open or something like that.
Well, Chuck Norris facts. One of my favorite one is he has two speeds: walk and kill. So he doesn't sleep. that's it. So then it's like, okay, I know where he is, so we going after him, and then that turns into this just ridiculous, water battle / ground battle where they finally catch up to the caravan that has.
Yeah, they're like I said earlier, very convenient. They're taking a boat and somehow they catch up with the prisoners being transferred. Well, I don't know where.
For what reason? There's
no
no
reason
explanation
whatsoever. I thought it was going to be they were going to break into a camp, like Chuck Norris was going to do some cool shit at a camp.
Yeah.
Like how cool would that have been? Like he breaks into a camp at night. He gets them out, and then an alarm rings, and then they got to run out. I thought one of those guys were gonna die, one of the POWs, and if it's a POW, I thought one of them was gonna die. Because think about that, then it adds to. I think way too much about this movie, but I think about like Chuck Norris is like one of them dies, and then Chuck Norris is like, oh my god, I came all the way here, and one of them died, and then he just like goes and just kills so many Vietnamese people. Like,
right, so you're thinking like, hey, if this was a good movie, then it could have had all this stuff.
It could have had actual story.
Well, see, that's what you're great
reasoning
for. You see, is that you're busy having like a whole, Harvard lecture in your head about how this could have been better. When I was just like, well, let's do it from the start.
Yeah, dude. But that was how I thought though, and then I thought maybe whatever. This movie is just so bland where it's like he's following them on a boat in the river, and they're like we said, they're being transported and everything like that. And it's just so convenient that he's riding up the river at the same time and following him. Also convenient that the road that he is following them is also running along a river.
Right on the river. And he finally catches up, and it turns into this hilarious battle of him using a M60 off of the bulletproof boat there, and he's just shooting and killing all of them. Not a single scratch, nothing's going his way, and it ends with one of my favorite shots the entire movie when the Viet Cong throw like a grenade or something, lands on their boat. It blows up. Chuck goes to the water. That Jack guy goes in the water.
And then we don't know where anyone
they're
is.
laughing.
Yeah.
The soldiers are laughing.
The Viet Cong think that. Yeah.
And then comes my favorite shot of the movie where out of the water, Chuck Norris rises from the
slowly,
depths. Literally just comes
like
up.
Loch Ness Monster.
It was hilarious. What was that?
I can't speak today, dude. It's so hot in here right now.
Okay.
My tongue is sticking to my cheek.
It's okay.
But
Don't
it's
worry.
like the Loch Ness Monster.
Those abs, baby. You're just so hot.
Oh, yeah.
He literally rises, my favorite, he literally, not even joking, rises up from the depths.
Yep.
Hilariously is holding the M60 and just starts shooting out of the water and kills the rest of the Viet Cong.
I don't know that much about guns, but that doesn't work logically.
It's
a gun being submerged underwater.
It's a complete accurate representation of warfare and real military strategy in this movie. God. So he finally
then he kills all those.
He kills
people.
all the dudes. He comes to the back of the van, finds the POWs, tell them they're going home. Finally,
this scene I was surprised. If I can cut in real quick.
Why?
I thought he was when I said the whole movie. I thought he knew these POWs. Yeah. That was the thing, and it was so weird when he saw them. They looked like they were like, wait, who are you? Like it didn't feel like. I was like, I was kind of going to look over at you and be like, are these the right guys? Are there other POWs or like what's going on? And also,
they're just dudes he was going to go rescue.
He's saving like 5 people.
Yeah.
He's killing like 30 or 40 people in this movie to save 5 people.
Yeah, man.
Really? I thought POW meant like a bunch of them, like hundreds of them and shit like that.
POW means prisoner of war.
Yeah.
Prisoner of war.
Yeah.
So POWs.
POWs, that's what I thought.
Right, so POWs, but
they kept saying missing in action in the beginning. That's why I kept saying MIA, because when he's laying in bed all sweaty and stuff, the guy on the TV was like,
no, they are because they are missing in action because they're not. But the point was that for sure they were missing in action. That's why they're MIA, because they couldn't find these guys. The people, like, so they didn't find like their bodies, that they were dead, or they didn't find evidence of them being alive. So they are missing in action. But
they're technically POWs.
Yeah, if they're alive and under custody of whatever.
But
army,
we don't know that as an audience because
until we do
as a society.
If we're talking real life as a society,
we didn't know.
But if they are, that means they are prisoners of war.
That's
still.
probably why he only got like 5 guys, because he was trying to like show the evidence of like like America, check this out, like Vietnam is literally holding our
that'd be the last thing we have to get to, because that's the end of the movie. But then next I was like, okay, cool, he's got him, and that's it. No, now they've got another caravan of Viet Cong showing up, and they have this weird ass like escape where, I mean, I'm definitely not for the POWs getting killed, but like they were getting shot at from every angle, and no one got hurt. Not a single person got shot, except for our boy Fat Man Jack, who sacrifices himself to get onto
the Hawaiian wearing shirt dude is literally sitting on the bulletproof boat and just shooting an MG, and kind of just there's a giant boat coming up that's shooting at them. Mm-hmm. First of all, you're climbing up onto, so the last part of this movie, like we said, they're getting off the island and all this kind of stuff. So just visualize a helicopter floating in the air that comes at a perfect time.
Right, we forgot. They tried to get off the. They tried to escape on the boat first. That didn't work because they're like Navy showed up with the one ship and started blasting.
So they're
at
getting
them.
like bombarded, like you said, by a bunch of Viet Cong. They're trying to leave, and then out of nowhere, a helicopter comes. It drops a ladder perfectly, right? Okay,
that's our boy from the strip club earlier.
Yep, and that's like we said, perfect timing. This guy exactly knows exactly where to go. It's perfect timing, whatever. Like that's so movie logic, whatever. Get past that. These guys are climbing up a ladder. How the hell are none of them getting shot?
No one, not a single.
Literally.
There was one part where they're literally running away from the people shooting, and I think like maybe Chuck is the only person who's got his actual front turned to him. But like at least with the way the movie's filmed, it looks like the Viet Cong are literally shooting right at them, and they're not getting shot.
Nothing's happening.
And I'm not looking for them to die either, but just like in the sense of movie logic, doesn't make any sense. But
I think though the smart way they played it was that the Hawaiian shirt dude shooting the MG was kind of like what they usually do in war. It's kind of just being a decoy, being a cover, and so they weren't
cover.
Because if a guy's shooting at you like crazy, and then you see people climbing on a helicopter, you'd probably take out the guy shooting you first, because you're in more danger from him than people climbing into a helicopter. But it's like, what do you do? Do you kill the people in the helicopter? Because then that way America will never know about the POWs. But then at the same time, it's like you should probably defend yourself and kill that. There was just a lot of moral choices at the end of this movie.
Well, yeah, like but definitely not in the movie. You just made them all up because you were trying to get more serious about it.
When this movie, when a movie's boring to me, I overthink.
Well, yeah, because you're just trying to make it more interesting for yourself. But that's real quick, I saw someone put a good post on Facebook. They're like, instead of remaking good movies, let's remake bad movies that had good premises or had a good story.
Agreed.
And I'm like, that's a great thing, absolutely, because there's a lot of movies that had a great premise or story that needed better execution. And this is actually a good premise in saving POWs and stuff, but all of them have pretty much butchered it because it's all about the like just absolute ridiculous action hero trope of just running in, shirtless and blasting everybody, which don't get me wrong, I love, but if you want a good movie, it's not happening.
No, this movie, and also it doesn't know what it wants to be in the sense of like is also like a weird like stealthy horror movie at parts.
Yeah, it's all over the place.
It's a thriller kind of.
With the music, I thought I was literally watching a horror movie at times. Yeah. So that's why I was like, and which is fine because a Chuck Norris horror movie sounds hilarious.
Yeah.
They finally get in the helicopter.
So yeah, back to it.
And I'm thinking, okay, there's a couple ways this is going to end. It's probably either going to just credits roll now that they're all relaxed on the plane
or
on
they
the
get
helicopter.
Shot down. I was thinking they were going to get shot down.
Well, that would have been a whole nother. Oh, unless it was going to be for the sequel.
For the sequel, right? They get shot down. They're still on the island, and they got to get out. Perfect sequel.
You'd think, but that's not how 80s sequels work. They the way 80s sequels work is that the movies work themselves out. Then there's a completely unrelated, unnecessary reason for a second one to happen. You know what I'm saying? Where it doesn't even have any reason to happen. But so they get in the helicopter, they're okay, whatever, and then it just starts cutting to a press conference in Vietnam.
The same Vietnam. One, I think. Though.
No, a different one because James Hong's dead, so it's a different general.
Oh, I know, but I'm saying it's the same place.
Yeah, same place. Yeah. Same place. They're having a press conference where they're adamantly denying about POWs, And you're just, as an audience, forced to realize that, okay, I guess they're going to ham fist what literally Chuck is doing. He has the pilot put down the helicopter in the middle of the street,
right in front,
of the courthouse, or whatever the hell it is.
Super American, right
Well,
there.
yeah, that, and also, like, something I'm going to point out is that these POWs, that's a whole nother discussion, but, like, POWs are usually not in good health.
No.
And so he's literally like dragging these dudes around. And the first thing I get the point is he wanted to show everybody that they're there. But like, it was hilarious to watch him because he puts down this helicopter and then he just like yanks the one guy out of the helicopter. And they just start forcing through like security, press, and everybody. And he literally just like bursts through the front door.
What is the one guy saying though? The general.
Yeah, the general's like,
literally, and that is basically in saying, and furthermore, that is why we deny.
I think that made you laugh, didn't it? The one part.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it kept cutting back to the general talking about, we
cutting
absolutely
back
deny.
And forth, going from like, we absolutely deny, and then cut to them running in at the front of the building.
That was actually pretty clever. I like that. And so he's
that felt
in
like an
the
episode
process.
of Law and Order though. It felt like some kind
well, that's what it was. Yeah, it was hilarious because
TV
it was
drama.
just out of nowhere because he's over here saying it as it's cut with the cutting footage of him coming in, and literally the final shot is he kicks down the door with the POW, and then it's just like, yeah,
it's like him and the guy. The
and
guy's like looking down, and then Chuck Norris is like looking in the camera like a badass, and then end.
That's it.
And then
end.
That's it. I love those stills, those
yeah.
end stills where it just holds them
80s
up.
end stills. It just
but
goes,
the audio's
yeah.
still going sometimes.
Yep.
Like you'll hear like people talking and
stuff. Then roll credits, missing in action.
Blue thing, yeah.
That was literally
blue
big
title.
Big title, missing in action. And that was it.
What a movie, dude. What a movie. From the flashbacks that come out of nowhere. To the very slow pacing action scenes.
To the killer Chuck Norris.
To a serial killer Chuck Norris. All right. Well, I guess we'll get into the rating time.
What do you... Oh, please.
Well...
Ginger's first.
You know, last time Ape, I went first. So you're going to go first this time.
Fine.
Even though technically I didn't pick this, we both picked this.
Yeah, this was like a mutual because we both, the past couple of weeks...
I mean, I kind of picked it. You were this, like...
You
showed me
I showed you the way, and you took the path.
And
because
I took the path,
we both, the past couple of weeks, had movies for each other. This time was more of a collective effort.
Yeah.
So on the bad of the bone meter... I would give this a 2 because it wasn't straight bad, like so unwatchable that like I just absolutely wanted to kill myself. But okay, let me take that back. It was like in between 1 and a 2. Hold on. Yeah. 1 and a 2, because if I was not watching this for the sole reason of what we're doing, I would turn it off. I would turn it off because it would be boring.
Yeah.
It'd be boring. But I didn't hate it to the point where like every single thing was awful. So like I said, some of the stuff was hilarious, like the him coming up out of the water and just
that
like
was
dumb
fun.
Dumb stuff like that. That stuff I do enjoy, and it gives me inspiration for like dumb film projects in the future of like action stuff.
It's good.
So I would give it actually like a 1.5 like in between.
4.
Yeah, out of 4 because it's in between. I definitely would not want to watch it again. And I don't even know if I want to watch the sequels because
I do. I actually do kind of want to see it. The second one looks horrible.
Yeah, because I was thinking maybe they got even more ridiculous where it started to get more action related.
Yep.
So
and Chuck Norris is in all 3, so which is great.
Well, okay. Something you got to realize, AC, is that when it comes to Chuck Norris, if there was movies with a sequel that he made, he's in them. There's no reason why he wouldn't be in them.
That's awesome, dude. Apparently, the sequel is it's a prequel. It says.
Oh my God.
That's gonna be bad. I wonder.
Lord, give me the strength. So yeah, I give it a 1.5. What about you, AC?
All right, so I felt this movie was incredibly unwatchable, so I was gonna go with 1, which is the lowest rating that we have here on Real Men of Action. But I don't know. I'm feeling a little bit of a man on this one. More of a strong man, less of the straight bad and unwatchable, more of a man. Pretty much because it was like I said when this film ended, it felt empty. It felt like this movie could have been so much more. Even with a runtime of an hour and 40 minutes, it felt like you could take out like 30 or 40 minutes of that movie and fill it in with like some awesome other shit. Or
this could be like, if you did it like that, it could be a pilot to like a show.
It could be like a 52-minute or an hour long like TV show. Like it definitely could have been, but. That's what this also felt like. You're right. This felt like a TV movie, like one of those old school like
Yep.
TV movies. It felt like. So that's why it was so. I love slow movies, but holy crap, this movie was way too slow. He was walking. He was even walking slow at times where he didn't need to be. You know, like it was really held out and just slow and boring. I didn't like this as much as I liked. I love Invasion USA. That has one of the best trailers ever. And if you want to watch Chuck Norris movie that's just bizarre, batshit crazy, go fucking watch that movie. The trailer is a fucking dude holding an RPG, and this little girl runs back into her house after putting the star on a Christmas tree. And then fucking you see the dude pull out an RPG and blow up the goddamn house. Apparently, we find out that she survives somehow.
Of course you did.
But
this is the 80s.
Yeah, but holy fuck, he's just in a suburban neighborhood blowing up houses. Really cool trivia about that. I'm gonna sidetrack just a little bit. Apparently, that whole neighborhood was going to be demolished for something. I don't remember what it was.
And so they used it to blow it up.
So yeah, people had to move out. So
that stuff is great.
That's a great like way to get in there and use it. But yeah, they blew up so many houses.
They do that in the time. They do that all the time with movies where they just like get property that's going to be demolished or something and then just go to town with it.
Use it. But dude, oh my god, that movie is amazing because there's so much obnoxious violence, and it takes itself seriously, but I feel like it takes itself serious in a fun way. Whereas this movie, I get the background message of like, you know, America was searching for POWs and, you know, like, you know, it's out there. We got to go get it. Yeah. Like that. Totally get that. Like almost, what's the term? Like adventure mindset. Like, I don't know the exact word for it, but someone who's like kind of like a go-getter, and that's how Chuck Norris is in this movie. He's a guy
no nonsense.
Yeah, nobody believes him, and it's not that. Well, it's not really nobody believes him.
Yeah, no nonsense. Like,
but it's no nonsense. Yeah, and like he's the only one that has to go and save them.
the balls?
Yeah, but this movie just completely fails in the pacing and the direction and the lack of story. Like I said, you could have gave character to the POWs or this group of people or whatever. He was just using him as an object to show America that, look, the Vietnamese are horrible people and they're keeping POWs and whatever. But yeah, I would go with a man. It's so in the middle. I can't even go up or down with this at all.
Well, that's all I can ask from you. You sweaty beast.
I'm literally sweating, so we're going to have to cut this episode a tad shorter than usual. But you know what? This movie didn't fucking have anything, so it's like we can't talk about it.
Would you say that it was missing?
It was missing a bunch of
action.
Because, holy crap. Like I said, this movie could have been so much more. I thought this movie was... The fucking cover looks amazing, dude.
Oh, yeah, it's fantastic. It's your like...
I've seen it so many times. Like look at that. That looks like a horrible movie.
Amazing.
Absolutely terrible.
I'm gonna get a portrait like that done of myself.
We're just holding a gun.
Yeah, but I'm gonna be shirtless.
Perfect.
More like, if you've seen First Blood Part 2, you should see the poster for that.
I think I have seen that. Let me look it up now.
Yeah, make sure we do it on the air because you need to see. It's one of the best movie posters of all time.
Yes, that's exactly the same thing. Yeah.
Yeah, but he's got a shirt off.
Yeah, I see that right here. My phone's a little slow, but...
Come on. Yeah.
There it is.
I'm going to have that same picture
with an RPG.
Myself. Yep, RPG. I'm just going to be like
RPG.
that. It's going to be over my fireplace in my new house.
Dude, it's a beautiful 80s look. But like I said, amazing poster where I thought, wow, this poster was going to make the movie amazing. And it didn't. No, not at all. So that's a good point, kids. You know, don't judge a book by a cover. Don't judge a fucking shitty 80s movie by its...
But judge people by their covers all the time because it's judgmental as you want. That's what Scrooge always says.
That's what America's all about. And that's, you know, I read some stuff in the reviews of this movie was that it was like people were saying this movie was super racist and this movie was super this and that and then I was like, no, if you don't know Chuck Norris, there's no racism. He's out to kill whoever.
Yeah, no, he does not discriminate with who he murders in any of his movies because there's movies where he plays a cop who's against corrupt cops. And like, so it's all over the place. It just depends on the movie.
It's always
it just depends on the movie who he's killing.
No, exactly. It's always about Chuck's right, you're wrong. No matter who you are, any race, and you know he could solve racism.
Technically,
honestly,
Chuck's right, you're dead. That's more
exactly. But you're wrong because you're dead.
Yes.
Yeah, as well.
And you're dead because you're wrong.
Dude, this man could solve world hunger.
You're right. He can solve poverty,
God.
racism. I totally agree.
Well, we
AC.
were talking about the origins of the Chuck Norris mythology. When I was young, it was really big in school, you know, like Chuck Norris jokes and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, just when the internet was getting
like
real big.
Like I said, I don't know really where it came from because, you know, to me, I never thought Chuck Norris that big prior to the internet.
Yeah.
He did like Walker Texas Ranger.
Yeah,
He's in some movies. He did, you know, different things here and there, but I never thought him to be that big. Like I said, I thought
he was like
Steven
middle.
Seagal-
He was like
yeah,
middle level.
yeah.
That's fine.
But then there's huge action stars like Arnold Schwarzenegger, Stallone, what was the other one? Seagal. You know, where it's like they're so big that I thought that they were going to be that, but no. Chuck,
Well, so Arnold and Stallone and like
they're
Willis
top,
and stuff.
and
They
then
were top.
Siegel's under
Yeah,
him, I will say.
Siegel's always up because he had a chance to be bigger, but because he's a fucking prick bastard
Miserable
who wanted to be
douchebag, yeah.
fat and pretend to be as a god. He went down further. Now he's at the bottom of the totem pole.
Oh yeah, no.
So-
I'm not saying that. I was just saying like popular wise, like people know like Under Siege and all those classic movies. Like,
but yeah, so Chuck he waves around there because more of the mythos of the man, not his body of work.
I think how he looks, like you said, he's really like quiet and very
Yeah.
like whatever. I think that what makes it out Chuck Norris, and he just kind of is a handsome dude and just is a recognizable face. You know, Seagal looks like a fucking mess in all of his movies.
Pretty much,
dude.
except for the first couple where he was thinner. But yeah, Chuck always had the good beard. Good, he's always in shape, and he's a good martial artist too. Actually, like legit, he's a pretty good martial artist.
Hell yeah. Well, awesome, Scrooge. I'm done talking about this fucking movie.
I know you need to go take a shower.
Yeah, a lot of showers actually.
Well,
but,
you and I are gonna hop in my shower later, big boy.
Well, that's where I'm gonna go right now. So, I'm AC and you're Scrooge, right?
Wow, you're just gonna speak for me, huh? That's
I was
crazy.
waiting. You weren't saying.
Why don't you try it again? You're gonna talk for me.
I'm AC,
And this is Scrooge,
and we are.
the real men of action. It's amazing that, as you mentioned about how pretty Chuck Norris has got his chest hair. I've had dreams about his chest hair sometimes. Just like each glistening follicle on his chest as it just